if you are an artist and you're interested in quilting and sewing and all things like that, or like natural plant dyes and things like that, you would probably like the quilty nook. I like the quilty nook, so that's what this haul is mainly about for this upcoming project. It's actually a workshop, so let's go ahead and start with the books, and then I'll get into the other stuff, and of course timestamps. So the first thing I got is this book, The Girl Who Played with Fire by I don't know how to say his name. Steg, I don't know, Larson. And I recently just finished both of these books right here, The Way of the Rose and then House Fires by Connor Franta. And I actually finished the Connor Franta one in one sitting, so it really got me excited. I was like, hell yeah, I'm a book girl now, that's right. So naturally, had to check out the book section at Goodwill when I went, and the cover just drew me in. And I feel like a theme in my life recently is fiery passion, very much a phase of trying to gain my confidence back and things like that. So that's just kind of what drew me into this book in particular, was like the archetype theme of fire. But come to find out, this is by the same author of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I didn't know at the time whenever I bought this book today. But this is the second book, it's not the first, and I just was like trying to do a little bit of research to see if it matters what order you read it in, because technically it's a trilogy, and here are the books on the back. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is first, and then the third one is The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. But a lot of people were saying, also let me know if you've read any of these or this book right here and what you think. But what was I gonna say? Oh, people were saying that the first book is kind of harder to get into, but once you're into it, you're hooked and you're obsessed. But it takes like 100 pages to get into it. So I already started this. I am on page 71, and let me tell you, I'm already sucked in like instantly. This is such a good book, and I want to make like a book club kind of video in the future, so I won't just ramble this entire video about this book. But the vibes that it gives me, first of all, it's based in Europe. It's in some kind of like beach town kind of situation, but it gives me the same vibes as American Horror Story hotel season. Like it gives like a hint of that mixed with like Emily in Paris type of like, you know, Parisian a little bit, but more like gritty than Emily in Paris. So if you've like seen either of those shows, it's kind of like a blend but mixed with some mystery and murder and things like that. So updates to come on this book for sure. So that was the first thing I picked up. Also, the way the book feels is just incredible. I just love it. And the second book that I grabbed is the classic Girl with a Pearl Earring. And I read this in high school. I think I was in, which class was it? I think I tried to take AP World History and then realized it wasn't for me, but we had to read this book in that class, so I have a distant memory of really enjoying this book and really liking the whole vibe of it. So it's literally based in the 1600s, and it is about the painting artist Vermeer and his celebrated painting. But I just really trust their opinion, and I know that they wouldn't just pick a book that's like complete bullshit. At least the teachers that I loved and trusted, because AP Lang and AP Lit were like my favorite classes. And I don't know, I just remember books were very much an escape for me back in the day, and I had so much satisfaction whenever I read. And this is doing exactly that. It's keeping my mind off of like stressful things in real life. It's taking me to a different world, and I'm just very much immersed in it. So there's that. So now moving on to the items that I picked up for this quilting workshop. So the first thing I got is, let's show the banger of it all. So these are a pair of pants. The pockets are still wet, so I just untucked them, so just ignore that. But they're stretchy pants, and they are this gorgeous red. I am loving these pants. They have so many different kind of details and patterns on them, and you guys will like see the theme. I'll kind of explain it as I go, but basically it's kind of supposed to be like a darker themed, more red and black, surprise surprise, but it's kind of playing on the idea of like death and life and the contrast between those two things. So that's kind of like the theme that emerged as I started finding these really awesome pieces. But these are so stretchy, and they have pockets, of course, like I said. I'm tempted to just like keep them and wear them as pants. I'll have to try them on. They look a little bit long, like they're gonna be kind of a weird length, but this fabric is exactly what I envision for this quilt project. So we'll just have to see. I'll have to try them on. But I'm loving these pants. So that's the first item. As for the clothing section, and the next thing that I got for this project is this pair of leggings. Look at these skulls, you guys. Oh my gosh, I know I have some subscribers who I've been chatting with in the comments recently that seem very much on my wavelength, more like my dark arts, darker souled people, which I'm super obsessed. Like, I'm so glad that we're connecting on this wavelength now. But I love how like sketchbooky it almost looks. Like, it doesn't just look like a weird copy and paste like clip art thing. It's very intentional with like the line work and everything, and I love that there's like pastel colors in here. So for the quilt, I'll show all of them at the end, but these are just a pair of stretchy little leggings, and I love them from a distance. I don't love them, like I wouldn't want these as pants, but just to pull like certain sections out of these for a quilt, I think would make a really cool pattern. And mixing it with this, it gives that whole like contrast and like dark arts kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So that is that. And I love the red in here as well. So again, not a surprise. Next up is this pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the pattern stuff first. So these are beautiful. I'm tempted to keep these and wear these too, but I don't need a pair of pajama pants. So these are pajama pants. And they just give me all the good vibes. I don't know about you guys if you feel this or not, but it's almost like, oh, it doesn't really read on camera very well. This branch color is a very like warm, comforting tone, and the cranberry colored butterflies in here give that more like bloody, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys? The other items, like, it goes well with this, in my opinion. It's not like frou-frou, like pastel butterflies. They're more like earthy and raw and so cute with like a little black tank top or something. Like, I love the black ribbed tank tops. This would be so cute, but I really don't need these for that. It's okay. I can see myself making little mini quilts. I've shown these a few times in videos before, but like just pulling different textures and things like that. This one's like kind of a shiny, shifty one right here. So I thought this whole batch of fabric would be good for my bigger quilting workshop project in addition to these. So if you're a fabric person, you know what I mean. You can never have too much fabric. I mean, you can, but like if something's sparking your interest and joy and passion, you gotta go for it. You gotta pick it up, and you don't want to leave it behind if it's special. So, tea. Alright, loving those. Now, the next patterned thing, this is actually the last, like, printed pattern. So, this is a, what do we call this? A robe. It's super see-through, as you can see. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Should I just try it on? Let's just look. So this has feathers. Feathers all over the sleeves and the bottom. So I think the colors of this is really sophisticated and pretty, and I'm loving this kind of like watery blue kind of situation. But it's not technically my style. Like, I don't really see myself having any kind of occasion to wear this, especially because it's not really a robe. Like, it doesn't have the loops, and it's not a belted situation. So maybe I could like make it into something, but you guys saw how see-through it was. So for this particular workshop, if you're interested in joining it, go to Zach Foster's Instagram and you can get more information and details and like look at the artist that is leading it. But it's called the Misfit Fabric Workshop. So that just means like really hard to work with fabrics whenever it comes to sewing. So super, super stretchy stuff like this is not the easiest thing to sew, and both of these are stretchy as well, so it's kind of like a learning curve, and that's what this whole workshop is about. Plus, misfit, you could interpret that however you want. You could do misfit fabric patterns, you could do just like a really thick and bulky fabric mixed with a super thin sheer fabric even, or even like a fishnet, or just anything crazy. So that's kind of like a little backstory of the workshop. So that's why I picked out these pieces intentionally to work with, because normally like you can't really quilt with something like this in like a more traditional quilting sense. So, but for this one, I thought it would go well with all of this kind of backdrop stuff that I have going on. Like this color right here has been one of my favorites. I'm just very inspired by this kind of like limey, natural kind of color, mustardy, limey. I don't even know how I would describe that. But anyways, so I'm just loving all those influences right now. And here's a closer look at like the wateriness of it. So here you go. I think that's gorgeous. So for the quilting thing, let me show you the fabric that I thought could go with it as well. So this right here is another sheer fabric, perfect for the workshop's purposes. And it's actually a navy blue, so it doesn't really go with like my original idea to do black and red and all this other stuff. But it would go with this. So I was thinking to do like those two, plus this watery one. Y'all probably don't even see the vision right now because I'm not portraying it in a great way, but just trust, I will show you updates once the workshop is done. So this is a really sheer because before I had a kind of a turquoise cotton candy mixture, like blue before, of this style with like these little designs on it, but like you can't really wear it in public. Like, I guess you could figure out like a slip or something like that, but then it just takes away from the whole purpose, you know what I mean? So I thought that this is very like dark arts because of the roses, and originally I thought it was black, so I was like, oh yeah, like black roses with the red, it's all good. But the fact that it's navy kind of like takes me out of the storyline a little bit, but that's what I'm hoping to like figure out with this workshop. So I have like a couple different options, more of like the red color palette and then the more blue color palette, so we'll just go with the flow and see. But obviously had to show you guys what I got in full. So okay, why is she all twisted up now? What the heck? Oh my god. Okay. So there you go, that is that. Okay, moving on to the next item. So next is this gorgeous, I'm obsessed, I kind of wish this was like an actual piece that I could wear, but I grabbed this out of the little kids section. Guys, look. Isn't that just such a gorgeous fabric? I love anything and everything velvet, velour, that whole style. Good little cuff on the bottom, and it's just such a rich, beautiful tone. It's similar to my nails. It's got lint on it, ignore that. But this just gives all my like theater, red carpet, performative, kind of sexy fantasy world of just, I just love it. Very seductress, very all of that. And in these little tiny quilts, this fabric right here is actually from a scrunchie from Free People, and it's the same material. And I just love the way that it shines, and it really does add that fun touch to these little like art projects and stuff. So I knew it would look good in a tiny quilt. Here's another one that I made recently. Look how cute that is, guys. But just imagine this gorgeous fabric being in one of these. Love it. But I like this because instead of just having like this much fabric from a scrunchie, now I have a whole entire piece. So I thought this would even be good for like a bigger project too, and have this be like the bigger quilting squares in it. And this is from Gap as well, so like what the heck. So it's nice quality. Goodwill $2.99. How could I resist? The answer is I couldn't. So that is that. And next is this. This is the last item for the quilt, and then I'll show you one last item that's like the wearable piece that I'm going to wear for real. So this is a pair of pants, again with the stretchy. Don't know what the heck is going on with this. I don't think these are attractive at all. I would not wear these personally, and even the bottom is not really my style, like the way that that looks. It doesn't do it for me. But I needed it because I wanted to get this fabric for the workshop, because it is this meshy kind of material, which is hard to work with, aka check the box for the workshop qualification. And this style right here looks more vintage and Victorian in nature than any other item that I saw at Goodwill, because everything modern lingerie is not like ancient Victorian sexy, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like a basic like lace, you know what I'm saying? Nothing intricate, nothing fancy about it, but this gave that vibe for me. persona that I'm kind of portraying through this quilt, this adds that more like badass feminine flair to it. So, and it has like front and back on both of the legs, so we've got plenty of fabric to pull from for this workshop. Again, I have no idea like what the actual product is supposed to be yet, but typically it's just like a little quilt, like something like that. Maybe you could make a little bigger, but the whole point of a workshop is that you can like do it during the workshop time. But I probably won't even do that. I just kind of like to go to hang out. Alright, so the last item from Goodwill is probably one of my favorites, and it's still drying. Look, she's sheer as fuck. But look at her. I think this is so my style right now. It has this really nice gold detailing that goes throughout. And this style of top, I personally think on my body type is the most flattering and like very feminine type of vibes. And then right here it has that detail as well, and it's really long, like this dangly piece. And then it's on the little sleeves as well, so I really like that it's okay. Wow, don't do that, Madison, don't do that, relax. I really like the shape. It actually is probably too small. I think it's a size small. I would probably need a medium for sure, but oh well. I thought it'd be worth a try. Also, this shirt is like huge, so you can't see. But it might fit. We'll see. We'll see. It kind of looks like doll clothes right now compared to this shirt. But yeah, I'm so excited about it. It's see-through, it's lingerie, so I'm like, I don't know like how I'm gonna pull this off. We'll see, folks, but to be honest, I don't really go out and do anything like crazy or social. So this is more like to stunt on them, you know what I mean? Like do a makeup look, a hair look, and get a cute photo just for ego reasons, I guess. But if I had a man, I would totally wear this and like go out and have like a cute little thing over the top and just say, fuck it, my nipples are gonna be out, baby, and like ain't nothing you can do about it, you know? Also, this detail right here, it's really cute. It's almost like a braided kind of design, which is so